turn now to the asteroid being called a city killer. There's a chance it could hit Earth.
NASA has just confirmed something terrifying. Asteroid YR4, the biggest space rock ever, is set to smash into Earth in 2032. Unlike other asteroids that burn up or miss us, this one is coming straight for us with almost no chance of turning away. Could this be the disaster that changes life on our planet forever? Tune in, because what NASA just revealed is the confirmation that the end of the world is around the corner. The size of YR4 alone is terrifying. Imagine a chunk of rock larger than the tallest mountains, moving faster than any plane ever built. If it slams into Earth, the damage will be beyond anything we have ever faced. Cities could be wiped out in seconds, and entire regions could turn to dust. The shockwave would travel thousands of miles, leaving destruction in its path. If it hits an ocean, it could cause waves big enough to swallow entire coastlines. The planet has seen asteroid strikes before, but nothing like this in recorded history. Before we go any further, it's clear that YR4 is more dangerous than anyone first thought, and what scientists just uncovered will leave you questioning everything. What is even more concerning is the lack of a real plan. Governments always talk about space defense, but are they truly ready? Many ideas have been proposed, from deflecting asteroids with rockets to blowing them up before impact. However, none of these methods have been fully tested. Some experts warn that even if we try, we may not have enough time to stop it. If YR4 keeps its course, the world might be looking at a disaster unlike anything we have imagined. NASA has been sending out warnings, but the response has been slow. Some people refuse to believe it, calling it just another scare. Others think technology will save the day at the last minute. But the truth is, the clock is ticking. With only a few years left before impact, decisions need to be made now. The longer we wait, the harder it will be to change anything. And if the worst happens, there may not be a way to prepare for what comes next. The biggest fear is that we are running out of options. Even if NASA and other space agencies work together, stopping an asteroid of this size is not easy. Moving something that massive would take enormous force, and any mistake could send it crashing into an even worse location. Some experts suggest trying to break it apart, but that could create smaller, deadly fragments raining down across the globe. Others say pushing it off course is the best bet, but that also requires precise calculations and powerful technology. Another major issue is the impact location. Scientists are still working to pinpoint exactly where it will hit. Some models show it heading toward major cities, while others suggest it could land in a remote area. But no matter where it crashes, the consequences will be devastating. Even a strike in an unpopulated area could change the climate, sending dust into the sky and blocking sunlight. Crops could fail, temperatures could drop, and millions could be affected by hunger and disease. This is not just about one country or one region. It is a global crisis. The financial cost of preparing for such an event is also staggering. Building technology to stop an asteroid requires billions of dollars, and most governments are not willing to spend that much on something that might not happen. But waiting until the last moment is even more dangerous. If YR4 does hit, rebuilding what is lost will cost far more than any prevention plan ever could. Yet, many leaders continue to ignore the warnings, hoping the problem will simply go away. There is also a growing concern about who is in charge. With so many countries involved, decisions are slow and full of disagreements. Some nations want to act now, while others hesitate. Some think the risk is being exaggerated, while others believe the worst-case scenario is already certain. Without strong leadership and fast action, the response could be too late. If YR4 is truly heading for Earth, every wasted day brings us closer to disaster. The possibility of an asteroid impact has long been the subject of science fiction, but this time it is real. The world has faced threats before, from natural disasters to wars, but nothing on this scale. This is not just about survival, it is about the future of life itself. If YR4 strikes, the damage could take centuries to undo. Some scientists even suggest it could trigger events leading to mass extinction, much like the asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs. Experts have tried to find ways to stop the danger, but if nothing is done soon, it may already be too late to change what's coming. Despite the danger, there is still a chance to stop it. The key is action, not delay. If the world unites and focuses on a solution, there might be a way to prevent impact. The technology exists, but the commitment is missing. Governments need to move past politics and take this threat seriously. The future depends on the choices made today. Ignoring the problem will not make it go away. It will only make the consequences worse. Some experts argue that there is still hope. If we invest in asteroid tracking and space missions now, we might be able to find a way to push YR4 off course. This would require launching a powerful spacecraft to nudge it just enough to miss Earth. It sounds simple, but the reality is much harder. The margin for error is tiny, and if calculations are wrong, the impact could be even deadlier. But even with the risks, doing nothing is not an option. The public does not know how to react to YR4. Some people are extremely worried, while others are acting like nothing is happening. Misinformation is everywhere, making it nearly impossible to tell what is true and what is not. Some believe NASA is making things sound worse than they really are, while others think they are keeping the real danger hidden. This confusion is making everything worse. If people do not believe there is real danger, they will not push leaders to act. And if no one is demanding action, nothing will be done to prepare. There are even bigger questions that no one has answered. If there is no way to stop YR4, what happens next? How do we make sure people survive? We have safety plans for earthquakes, hurricanes, and even nuclear disasters, but none of those compare to an asteroid crashing into the planet. Underground bunkers might help a few people, but they cannot save everyone. What happens to the cities that are hit? How do countries prepare for food shortages and major weather changes? These are the kinds of questions that should have been answered already, but there is still no clear plan. History has proven that humans have survived through some of the worst events imaginable, but survival is never about luck. It happens because people take action before it is too late. The world cannot afford to wait. Every second wasted brings us closer to disaster. NASA's discovery of YR4 is more than a warning. It is a final wake-up call. If leaders do not step up now, we could be facing a disaster unlike anything the world has ever seen. But there is more to consider. What if the impact happens sooner than expected? What if NASA has already calculated the odds and knows the situation is worse than they are saying? Even if there is time to act, how do governments choose who gets to survive? It is not just about stopping the asteroid, it is about making sure there is a future afterward. Plans for underground shelters are not enough. Who decides who gets to live in those shelters and who is left behind? If resources run out, what happens then? And what about the global economy? If the world knows a disaster is coming, how will businesses react? Will the stock market collapse? Will people start hoarding supplies? Governments may try to control the spread of information to keep things calm, but that will only make people more suspicious. And if the asteroid does not hit right away, what kind of world will we be living in while we wait? Fear, panic, and chaos could destroy society before the asteroid even arrives. Asteroids can be deadly, but some space rocks might hold answers that could change how we understand the universe. Comets are more than just space rocks with flashy tails. These massive icy travelers wander through the solar system, carrying things about the universe's past. Some of them are so big and unpredictable that scientists still don't fully understand their behavior. A few even shake up our understanding of how comets work, and what they might be hiding. The more we look, the more we realize that these cosmic giants are far stranger than they seem. Take Comet Bernardinelli-Bernstein, officially called C2014 UN271. This thing is a monster. It stretches over 85 miles across, making it one of the biggest comets ever spotted. Found in 2014, it's creeping toward the inner solar system, but won't get anywhere near Earth. Even from hundreds of millions of miles away, it's still fascinating because it gives us a rare chance to study an object from the deep Oort cloud, the most distant part of our solar system. But why is something this massive even out there? And what could it be carrying? Then there's C2002 VQ94, also known as Linear. Discovered in 22, it's a little smaller, at about 60 miles wide, but that's still huge. This comet comes from far beyond Pluto and takes thousands of years to complete just one orbit. Studying objects like this helps scientists figure out how often giant comets appear and what role they play in shaping planets, atmospheres, and even life. Could something like this have delivered water or something else to early Earth? Hale-Bopp, discovered in 1995, was unforgettable. It was one of the brightest comets ever seen, lighting up the night sky for a year and a half. This icy visitor had a core over 35 miles across, much bigger than most comets that pass by Earth. But its brightness was the real shocker. It spewed out massive amounts of gas and dust, making it shine even in city lights. If a comet like Hale-Bopp were on a collision course with Earth, it would be a serious problem. One of the oldest recorded comets is the comet of 1729, or C1729P1. We don't know its exact size, but estimates put it at over 60 miles across. What's strange is that it was visible even though it never got close to the Sun. That suggests it was reflecting an unusual amount of light or producing way more gas and dust than expected. Could it have been something different from a normal comet? Comet Chiron is even weirder. It sits between Saturn and Uranus, acting like both a comet and an asteroid. At 125 miles across, it's way bigger than most comets. But what's unusual is that sometimes it starts glowing like a comet, even though it's nowhere near the Sun. This bizarre behavior has scientists questioning if there are more hidden comets like this out there, disguised as harmless space rocks. Comet 29. P/Schwarzmann-Wachmann is another odd one. It hangs out between Jupiter and Saturn and has unpredictable outbursts. One day it looks calm, and the next it brightens up dramatically. It's about 35 miles across and is known for erupting multiple times a year. Why does it keep doing this? No one really knows, but some think it could be signs of something strange happening under its icy surface. Then we have Comet Holmes, which shocked astronomers in 2007. This thing went from being nearly invisible to outshining every star in the sky in just a few hours. It didn't even get close to the Sun, but its coma, the glowing cloud around it, expanded until it was bigger than the Sun itself. What caused such a massive explosion? That's still up for debate, but it's clear that comets can surprise us in ways we don't expect. Another comet that faced extreme conditions is Comet Lovejoy, which got dangerously close to the Sun in 2011. Most comets that fly this close don't survive, but Lovejoy somehow made it through. It came within 90,000 miles of the Sun's surface, meaning it should have been destroyed by heat and gravity. Instead, a chunk of it remained, leaving scientists wondering what made it so tough. Comet Ikeya-Seki, spotted in 1965, did something similar. It flew even closer, skimming just 280,000 miles from the Sun. It became so bright that people could see it during the day. This showed that some comets can survive insane heat, raising the question, what are they really made of? Hyakutake, discovered in 1996, was one of the closest comets to pass Earth in modern times. At just 9 million miles away, it gave people an incredible view. Its core was only 2.5 miles across, but its tail stretched for over 300 million miles. The craziest part? It was the first comet where scientists detected X-rays, proving that comets interact with space in unexpected ways. The more we learn about comets, the more we realize they could reshape everything we thought we knew about space and its hidden dangers. Another surprisingly bright comet was McNaught in 2006. This one became the most spectacular comet of the decade, lighting up the sky in broad daylight. It had two distinct tails, one of dust and one of charged particles, creating a stunning display. Scientists used this comet to study how sunlight affects comet tails, but it also raised more questions about how these tails form. Of course, no list is complete without Halley's Comet. It's been around for centuries, appearing every 76 years. With an 11-mile wide core, it's not the biggest, but it's one of the most famous. It was last seen in 1986, and when it returns in 2061, astronomers hope to get an even closer look. Could it hold clues about comets we haven't discovered yet? Siding Spring made headlines in 2013 when it nearly hit Mars. It came within 90,000 miles, close enough for the planet's atmosphere to be affected. Mars orbiters recorded a dust storm caused by the comet's tail, which gave scientists a rare look at how comets interact with planets. One of the most exciting finds was Borisov. The very first comet we have ever confirmed came from beyond our solar system. Unlike the comets we usually see, which were formed with our Sun, Borisov traveled from another star system, making it a true interstellar visitor. It was first spotted in the year 2019, and its path showed that it wasn't just a wandering rock. It was moving so fast that it could only have come from deep space. What made it even more surprising was how much it looked like comets from our own solar system. This means that other stars, just like our Sun, might have similar comets circling them, carrying ice and dust, just like the ones we know. If that's true, then the universe might be filled with these icy travelers moving between stars and carrying the same materials that could help form planets. Then came Neowise, a breathtaking comet that captured the world's attention in the year 2020. This comet was about 5 miles wide, and what made it so special was its enormous glowing tail. Unlike many comets that are only visible with special telescopes, Neowise was bright enough to be seen with the naked eye. People across the world could look up and see its brilliant trail stretching across the sky, making it one of the most spectacular comet sightings in recent years. The tail was created as the Sun heated the comet's icy surface, releasing gas and dust that spread out behind it. It was a rare sight, one that won't happen again for thousands of years, making it a once-in-a-lifetime event for anyone lucky enough to see it. Scientists gathered as much data as they could, studying its composition and movement, hoping to learn more about where it came from and what it was made of. Another exciting discovery was Leonard, a comet first spotted in the year 2021. While it didn't shine as brightly as Neowise, it still thrilled astronomers and anyone with a pair of binoculars. Its path through space made it a challenge to see at times, but those who managed to catch a glimpse were rewarded with a beautiful glowing streak in the night sky. Scientists watched closely as Leonard moved toward the Sun, observing how it changed as it warmed up. Every comet tells a different story, and Leonard was no exception. The more we study these icy objects, the more we realize how much we still don't know. Why do some comets become bright and spectacular while others stay faint? What hidden materials do they carry, frozen for billions of years? And then there's Churyumov-Gerasimenko, a comet that became famous when the Rosetta spacecraft visited it. This comet is small, just over 2 miles wide, but what scientists learned from it was groundbreaking. The Rosetta mission was the first to send a lander onto a comet's surface, giving us an up-close look at what these icy bodies are really made of. When the lander touched down, it sent back data showing that the surface was covered in a mix of ice, dust, and complex organic molecules. This discovery raised even bigger questions. Could comets have brought the building blocks of life to Earth? How do these ancient space objects change over time? Even with all the data collected, comets remain one of the most unpredictable objects in the sky. They surprise us with sudden bursts of brightness, unexpected changes in shape, and sometimes completely new materials that we didn't expect to find. Is NASA telling us everything about asteroid YR4, or are they keeping the real danger hidden from the public? Could this be a disaster they know is coming but refuse to admit? The thought of a direct asteroid impact is terrifying, but what if there's more they aren't saying? Tell us what you think in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more.